asking how long a matter is, it may get people a little bit confused. But your research had different applications in industry and everything, especially in metrology system. So I would like you to tell us some examples of these applications.
Okay, my discovery has something to do with microelectronics in principle, but for a public lecture, I didn't want to go too scientifically too detailed, and I think the question, how long is a meter, I think everyone could understand something. He becomes interested, maybe okay, what who caught the attention. This was the main idea. But basically, my discovery, which is finally some fundamental electrical resistance, you see, has something to do with electricity. And the discovery was done on the most important microelectronic devices, a so-called field effect transistor, which is used in all electronic equipment. And therefore, my discovery had a lot of things to do with modern nanoelectronics. If you go to very small structures, then new phenomena appear. So this is a very modern topic today, to have always smaller and smaller devices, faster devices. And this is also my main research. So my discovery was by accident. So I was doing experimental research to improve the quality of microelectronic devices. So this was the driving force when I was a scientist as a student. And then I saw something which I didn't expect. And in basic research, it happens you don't understand something. And then I was thinking about what is behind this. And I know exactly the night when I discovered this phenomenon which gives me the Nobel Prize. It was in the night from the 4th of the 5th February 1980 at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I
remember the hour and the time.
I was working at night, and then I saw suddenly something which I didn't understand. So and then I followed this, and within half an hour I saw something new. Yes, and then I followed this one, and already next day I called persons which are specialized in the field and asked them, is this interesting, is this important for you, for metrology, is this important for new standard or so?
You noticed, right?
Already next morning I called then, I was in France at this time to do my research, I called some laboratory in Germany, and so I knew there's something new, yes.
How to put science inside the everyday of people, you know, because we use the instruments, we use everything that is surrounded by science, but we don't actually think about science.
This is very important, and I think we have to start at a very young age. Perhaps in Germany, you know, starting in kindergarten already, to ask the young, because they want to discover always, to understand something. And this is very important, to ask questions and to understand nature. And I think we have to put much more effort in the young generation and to educate teachers. That is very important. So I have, in Germany, I have a special prize with my name to give teachers some extra money for extra activities for young children in science mainly, because there's so many things you want to see, to understand. And I think it's very important that the people accept developments, new developments, technologies. If you don't understand this, I think then you are separated from the development. And this is very, very dangerous, because the technology has positive, but many people have feeling, okay, they're doing something against me.
Yeah, they have some prejudice.
So, and we have to convince them that the positive aspects are much bigger. Then there's always also some negative aspect. Everything, if you have new developments, there's something also some negative. But you have to understand the balance. What is positive? What is negative? What is the probability of some risk? What is the benefit of something? And this is very difficult. Majority of people see also selective dangers, perhaps, and they say, "Okay, I don't like it." Yes, but we are using the refrigerator today, and nobody thinks about. Physicists developed such an instrument, yes, and we are using it, yes, and how useful it is, yes. The cell phone, many people in Germany are afraid, okay, there is some electromagnetic wave, it may damage my brain, or something like this, yes. And as a scientist, you have always a problem, you cannot say there's absolutely no influence, but we know that if there is some influence, is extremely small, yes, and the benefit to ask for help by a cell phone is much bigger than some possible risk, yes, and also radioactivity and all these questions. So we need much more education, and as a scientist, I'm much happier in our world because I understand the world, whereas the people which don't understand it, they are skeptical and they feel bad already, yes. So
and I was going to ask you especially about that you spend a whole day instructing some teachers in Germany, and you're talking about basic education, but also in Germany the government invests a lot in this exchange. After university and masters and PhD, many people come from all over the world to study in Germany because they get some support. And I would like you to talk about that. How important is to invest in basic education, but also in this higher education after university?
Okay, I'm a director at the Max Planck Institute. This is something very special because we are really working at the top of our knowledge. So what nobody has seen before, we want to discover something new, yes? So this is really fundamental, basic research. And so this is the top of science in principle. But below this, we have many, many activities. And you speak about the exchange, the internationalization. In my group, I had once 16 different nationalities from 16 different countries working together. And I think this is a fantastic feeling for a scientist to have these international people. And we have special programs, international programs to attract scientists. Okay, but in Germany, we have the bad thing, foreigners have the impression they cannot stay for the whole life. So in Brazil or in America, there are many foreigners coming in and they are integrated in the country. Whereas in Germany, they have the feeling, okay, you can come and then go away, yes, and you have no future, no long-term future. But this is not true. And we extra changed our curriculum at university to bachelor and master degree to have some international comparison, and our lectures are given in English, so that many foreigners which don't like to speak German, they are now coming also. But this is also perhaps some problem in Brazil. It's still very difficult to find people which speak English. Yes? And in science, I think it's absolutely necessary that you need some basic knowledge in English. Maybe the computer language is also English, a lot of things, so that will distribute this language. But this is very important, and I think everyone should have some basic knowledge also in English.
They say that journalists and scientists have this quite hard relationship, because scientists complain that journalists they write everything too simple. They don't reach the point of the science. But the other side, journalists complain that scientists they don't try to simplificate. They stay at a standard. They don't talk the way that people can really understand. So how do you think this could be done in this relation? Because it's important for both sides.
Yeah, this is one of the problems, because many scientists, they believe if you say something too simple, then they are not acknowledged by the colleagues, and they are regarded as a bad scientist. Yes, so therefore, perhaps Nobel Prize winners, they can explain perhaps more simple something, because they do not work for their reputation anymore. But I think also television, this is the most important transfer of knowledge to people. They should have also some small, 10 minutes just every day perhaps, regarding to some scientific questions. I think now we are starting out in Germany. We have always at prime time of the television some very short, interesting scientific questions. There are so many interesting things to see and to educate. And I think in this way you could motivate also the public to accept more scientific. But it's true, the connection between journalists which have to sell something, and you are under pressure also that the newspaper has to be bought by some customer. It's very difficult to have long stories about science. Maybe today is the Nobel Prize again for our universe is expanding.
Yeah,
yes.
So
and
what did you think about the choice?
Astrophysics is always something interesting. Many people look at the sky, so you can catch the attention with such topics. Yeah, but in Germany we have very special program really to go on the street to publicize science, to go really in the stores and to show some experiments. So there is a lot of activity now during the last 10 years approximately, because we know that we have to catch the attention of the young generation to go into science, because too many go into areas which are not really productive for the future, in my opinion.
And in the last months you were in India, Senegal, Mongolia, right?
Yes, and China, and in Japan, and different countries.
And there are different regions, but these countries, they share the same problems, some structural and development problems.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you see the scientific contest in Germany, for example, in the rich countries, and comparing to these countries that you have visited now? And about the Amazon, do you have any special opinion or idea? How do you think the Amazon is inside this contest too?
Okay, Brasilia is one of the BRIC states, yes, and I know all other states, and I can compare this. And at present, China is the most aggressive one to invest in the future, in the long-term future. They want to be the best everywhere, in all areas. It's unbelievable. They want to compete with the big companies in the United States, with Intel, all the processor for computers. They will do it by themselves. So,
and he's asking about if it's not a contradiction, this goal for future and everything for China, but no democracy.
No democracy, yeah. Yeah, I discussed with them, and you know, there was this Yasmin demonstration in China. They just walking on the street, and they were, and I spoke to many people, but as long as you have a positive gradient, the development they feel is positive. And therefore, this is not the main question. Okay, I met the Dalai Lama, or I meet other people which see the problems in China. I was in an official delegation and human rights and the student protests, I remember very well. But today, as long as you see a positive gradient, positive development, then
people forget a little bit about the rest.
The majority, 90%, they want to see, okay, a positive development, yes. This is, okay, this is problematic, yes, I know, but they feel more freedom. When I was first time in China, it was forbidden to meet foreign people from China in a hotel or so. Today, you can speak about all questions, also about protests against human rights. You can discuss questions as long as you don't put it in the internet or you don't put it in public. But they feel much freer to discuss problems, and they are aware of the problems. But they say also in the capitalist countries, nothing is excellent. Yes, and they don't feel at present really this question is not the priority.